Got to put my chocolate bar a little closer to my mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice
you like a
ice
little
cream
sandwich there?
My little Sammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your video feed's looking a little bit different today. It looks a lot brighter. I'm enjoying it. The color of your shirt really pops. I'm liking it.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
If only you could, like, if you were wearing, what are those things? A polo? You just pop that collar.
Pop the collar.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good.
Yeah,
that would have been a great moment to do that. But sadly, you suck at life, I guess. Just like me, bro.
Ooh, that was
just like
quick,
me.
That was a quick right off the deep end there.
You're like, you just turned that one. I was not expecting that to happen. So
no. Normally you're nice to me when we don't have guests on, so I'm very taken back.
I mean, well, now, like, I don't know. I feel like I need to just, if we're ever gonna have guests again, I feel like I need to ease you back into the verbal diarrhea, the just complete rudeness. So I have to like start taking subtle shots of you. Normally I'm like, oh my God, he's such a good boy. Look at his kissable face. And now I gotta be like, it's a turd. He's a turd boy.
Wow.
That's my plan, actually. That's 100%. I feel like it'll work out really well.
Loyalty. Well, that must mean we're having guests. So who's coming on next week?
No.
No. Right.
I don't know. The thing with guests is it's always just so hard to have, like, you gotta have like a consistent quality. They have to be like relatively good with you. Granted, we have had some amazing guests. Like, I really love talking to Caitlin. I really loved talking to Jacob McCourt. Like, I've loved talking to so many of our guests. It's just so hard to find somebody who melds with you both in like ideals and in quality. It is very hard to do.
Yeah.
I take great pride in how I feel like we have a good show. Okay. I really do.
Someone who's going to ruin it for us.
Well, I mean, granted, I talked about poop for like 11 minutes last week. I was
literally just going to bring that up. Like, we don't want to get a guest that might talk about poop for an extended period of time. That would really change the course of our whole show.
Nah, dude. Speaking of Josh's shirt, just to let everybody know, it's actually not extremely cold in my house for once. The one time I felt like I could actually just wear a t-shirt. My camera's color correction, for some reason, refuses to let me wear dark colors. And it took me far too long to figure it out before we recorded this. Like, seriously, not even joking, like 15 minutes. And then I finally noticed, I was like,
it's okay.
Is it just because I'm wearing this fucking shirt? So I went and put on this sweatshirt. So, like, if you see me just, like that Key and Peele sketch, doused in sweat, that's why.
Well, you know what? It's fine because you're wearing your sports jacket. American football is back in season. That's why you're a big fan. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. This is definitely a sports team.
Yeah. Looking good.
It's the University of Arkansas.
Wow. You think you would want Idaho, but no, I guess you're a fucking traitor.
Yeah, dude. See, here's the thing about Arkansas, though. It's like, Idaho, what do we got? There's the Boise State Broncos. Nah, dude, not a fan. Or the Idaho Vandals, not a fan. Like, there's some dumb shit football teams. But then you got the Arkansas inbreds, and that's what I'm all about, big boy. Let's get them fucking hillbillies out there. They'll chew off your face. Wouldn't that be fucking crazy?
I would not. If I played football, I would not want to go up against hillbillies. That's for sure.
Yeah, like you look at them and like they're not even wearing mouth guards. They're like, I only got 3 teeth. I don't really need them. Like, wouldn't that be awesome?
Ugh.
They're just like, I have to suck on protein bars. I can't eat them.
Oh man, I don't like what we're creating right now. This whole image, it's just not enjoyable.
I wish I was like willing enough to commit with a bit so hard that like eventually somebody would be like, wait, Arkansas has a football team called the Inbreds? Like, that sounds weird.
Yeah, dude.
That's
the
like I wish so badly that I could commit to a bit to the point of gaslighting people, but it's not something I can do, you know?
It's okay.
Eventually it just gets too dumb. And generally that's like right after I say it, I just think it's far too dumb to be like at all accurate. So generally I'm just like, nah, I'll kill my own joke. I'm not even worried about it.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll always have the thought of hillbillies playing football though. And that'll take to heart.
It'd be so good, dude.
Anytime. For me, hillbillies always get equated with prospectors, and I always think of that voice.
Yeah. There's just that one guy who's like, he's supposed to be on the defensive line, but the second they like do the hike or whatever, he pulls out a washboard and starts like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah. And everybody's just like, what? And he's like, distraction. And then they just they win, dude. Yeah. The hillbillies, what they've got is the element of surprise. The membres, they got the surprise, and they've got magical powers because they're mutants. Like, you know what's up. You know.
Anyway,
moving on. So Big Josh boy, last week almost shit my pants. This week, you know what? I had to take an extended trip, which I think maybe I'll talk about. I had to go, you know what?
So did you almost pee your pants? Am I jumping the gun here?
I mean, not necessarily.
You know, you're really, what's funny about this is it's very cyclical of what's going to come at the end of the show of what Phil's asking us. If you were like, yeah, this time I had to really hold in a pee.
No, okay. So I had to take a trip down to Twin Falls for my grandmother's funeral over the weekend.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, I had to take a little trip. That's for the most part the reason why I forgot to do so many things was because I had to work that in there. So we taking this trip down there. I thought it was going to be like we wake up at like 11. Funerals are like 2. And like I'm not trying to make light of this scenario. It really sucks. But like, I really thought the drive was only like an hour and a half. Like, I really thought it was. It's not. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes, dude. It's fucking absurd.
You couldn't have died somewhere closer. Like, fuck, lady.
I mean, like, you could have had your fucking like your funeral like in Boise, to where I could just drive like 30 minutes.
Come on, Grandma.
She doesn't live here. She lives in like Hazleton or Eden, Idaho. Like, she lived way down there.
Does a lot of her family live there? Or is it just her?
Oh yeah, like all of them.
Oh, all of them. So you're the odd one.
Yeah, I'm the outlier. So it's just like I know
I thought
we haven't spoken.
She was just like, I hate that kid. I'm gonna go real far away.
I should have just like hit up my mom and everybody while they're planning the funeral and been like, hey yo, like I know the grandma and we weren't so tight, but I feel like she would really want you to make this easier for me and just move the funeral over here. Like, I get that a lot of people are going to have to like fucking come here, and her burial site is in Hazleton, but like, bro.
But like, it's a dead body. Just ship it. You
just
know?
gotta.
Amazon's been getting real good at shipping things. I think they got it. We'll fucking drone her over. No, that'd be so terrible. But like, we're driving down there. Say this shit.
No, dude, I had to hold my pee so bad. And here's the thing, though, I was so terrified. Like, you know, way back when we were looking for houses, I talked about how I was like almost shitting my pants every time we went out.
Yes,
because I would get so nervous. I was getting really nervous about this drive. So I was like, you know what? My wife, she got sick of like me almost shitting my pants every time we went and looked at houses that she bought some Imodium, which is an anti-diarrheal or anti-diuretic diaper. She's like, just shit your pants. I don't care. Just
put it in this bag.
I'm like, I just like midway through the trip, I look at her and I'm like, oh no. And she's like, what? Did baby have a blowout? And I'm like, it's up my back. But no, so I took this anti-diuretic or whatever, bro. That shit is weird. Like, I'm not saying that it made me hallucinate or anything. It was just the fact that, like, I truly believed that my, like, frequency in bowel movements when I got nervous was something that could not be conquered by modern medicine. I thought it was like a hurricane. Like, you can't saddle up a hurricane and ride that bitch all the way to Alaska or whatever. Like, it's just the force of nature. I really thought it was going to be something like that. So I was like, I'm not going to take this shit. It's not going to do anything. Took one. Holy crap, dude. The best experience of my life, kind of. Like, my stomach ended up hurting like the next day because I was like, I gotta get this out of me. But like, bro, that shit's choice. If you are having some like bowel issues, fucking take an diuretic or whatever, Imodium.
I love how you keep calling it anti-diarrheal.
I don't. Well, that's actually, it's like either diuretic or diarrheal. It actually says that on the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was just like, makes sense. Like, it's just like, take once after loose stool, take again after your second loose stool. And I was like, bro, that's my fucking life, dude.
That is
like,
what it's called. Huh? Damn.
Right? I told you. It's weird. Like, it doesn't even, granted, I think we grabbed like the generic brand. So it wasn't like actual Imodium. It was just like Walmart Imodium. But like, that shit's sweet. Just letting everybody know. You having issues? Take one of them bad boys. Granted, not going to give you a solid log, but it will not make you have to shit your pants. So,
you know what? You be careful, because some people, they get addicted to cocaine. Some people, they get...
I'm going to get addicted to the fucking Imodium. I'm going to be like, I never want to poop again.
Dude, I'm looking at this right now, and through Google, there's like, you know how it always goes, like, here's a bunch of random questions that might be interesting to you.
Yeah, the frequently asked questions.
One of them was, is it bad to take anti-diarrheal? And it goes, in rare cases, taking high doses can lead to a condition called megacolon.
What does that even mean?
Oh man, in which the muscles become paralyzed and the colon swells up and stops functioning. So,
I gotta watch out. Then.
You gotta watch out.
I think I'm only gonna take it for trips. Like, I was actually legitimately worried for my wife's and I trip to San Francisco, because I was like, I don't want to dump out on a plane, bro. Like, I feel so bad doing that. And I know for a fact that like me just having to drive to a place gives me such anxiety, let alone having to like glide across the air like thousands of feet up, and like, you know, I'm gonna be spewing some hot sewage. So it's like, I'm gonna need one of these bad boys. I'm so glad I took a chance on it. Whew. Saved my life to Big Josh boy.
So I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that science could finally fix all your problems.
Nah, dude, still got like it's either mice or it's a ghost or I'm going insane. But like, whatever.
there's medicine for it. You can take stuff.
Like, I'm fairly sure there's medicines for all of those. Mice, there's poison.
It's true.
Schizophrenia, I don't know what the medicine is, but there's definitely medicine for that. And ghosts, a little bit of sage, you know, just got to burn out all the bad ones.
Yeah.
And then like a Ouija board, you got to communicate with it at this point. You can't really get rid of a ghost, but you can communicate. You can foster a nice relationship. Maybe you can have a cohabitat.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. You know, sometimes they can be really reasonable. I love the fact that we said science can solve your problems, and we started from a very scientific perspective of like poison, and then just fucking really quick went downhill and just like, we'll get a Ouija board. You know how fucking scientifically accurate those are?
Bro. I saw that shit on the History Channel. You tell me Ghost Hunters isn't scientifically accurate?
You say scientifically?
I was like, African?
Scientifically? What does this mean?
You're telling me that Finding Bigfoot isn't the most historically accurate show you've ever seen in your life, bro?
You know
Can't believe you're being this stupid on the air. Can't believe it. Normally, I'm the idiot of this show. You're just fucking...
Sometimes we gotta switch roles, you know what I'm saying?
Hello and welcome to IndiePod, an indie games podcast, your weekly source for all the indie games news you need to know. This week, we are bringing you, in a sense, 2 news stories. Really, I'm just going to read one. I just wanted to make sure I talked about the other one, because for some people, it's going to be really big, and it'll be really interesting to see what people think of it. I'm actually, honestly, with the success of Undertale, and people are seemingly liking Deltarune, I really want to see where it goes.
You're giving out spoilers.
Whatever, dude. It's called like a lead-in. People gotta want something. They got that little bit to chew on right now, and then they're like, okay, that little bit of indie games news will satiate me through the next 30 minutes of us talking about just random bullshit. You know what I mean?
All right, I'll allow it.
Of course, after that, we are going to be hopping into News Cram for all sorts of new stuff. We're going to be heading over to Kickstarter in God Bless the Crowd to talk about a pretty cool looking 2D hand-drawn Metroidvania. I'm actually pretty excited about it, especially because it's in the style of Wonder Boy, and I'm a fan of the style, okay? And then we're going to be answering our audience questions. It's going to be a fun show. I'm excited about it. But before we get into any of that, I would like to introduce myself, Vaughn, alongside my illustrious co-host, the biggest of average Just Boys. How you doing today, big Just Boy?
I'm good, dude. I had ice cream for lunch because I'm a fucking adult. I can do what I want.
It's the best thing ever. I had Rice Krispies for lunch.
Ooh, baby.
Right?
Unhealthy Sunday. Let's bring it back.
I don't have a healthy day, so it's just like...
Well, you're going to die. real quick.
Lunch. Yeah, dude. I'm 95% literally at this, like right now, all of my grandparents are dead before like their 70th birthday or whatever. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's take that down even more. I want to die at 40, you know? I'm 26. Well, I wake up sometimes and my neck hurts. I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, I got past it last week when I was like, if I hit my mouth on this one more time, I was going to freak out. You know what's funny? I watched the video. Literally, I never hit my mouth on it once. Yeah, I don't know what my mouth was. I don't know what my chin was touching, but it was like, maybe it was the ghost, dude. Maybe it was the ghost.
Tickling your chin? Little chin tickles?
He's this ghost is just having fun with me.
Yeah, he's fun. He just tickle. Huh? Come on, man.
That'd be so fucking shit. My entire shelf just falls over. I'd be like, that would be a real moment where I was like, if the afterlife was ever told to me to be explicitly real, I would definitely just die. Like, not even kill myself or anything. It would just be like, I would just die. You know, not because I'm excited about it, just because that's like, it's way too much for my pea brain to handle. It's too much. But Big Josh Boy, before we get into any of like the big topics, what we've been playing or anything, we've got to go through our housekeeping. Please check out the developer interview going live this Wednesday, the 22nd. It is with Visionaries, the developers behind Business Heroes Food Truck Simulator. And once again, that one's going live on September the 22nd. Then while you're in your browser, you're doing whatever. Everybody's got a smartphone.
What if you're on your phone? What if you're on your phone?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Is fucking everybody's got a smartphone? Everybody's out here playing Diablo Immortal, you know? It's like, bro,
yeah, man.
Everybody out here playing Diablo Immortal.
We all got phones.
What you got to do now? You got to go into your browser. You got to type in Teespring. You look for that Indie Pod Teespring. You head over there. You buy a shirt. You buy a sticker. You buy nothing else because I will never put anything else on there. Then you head over to YouTube. You type in Indie Pod once again. You hit the subscribe button because why not? Like we're cool boys. You can see our faces on video. That's some fun shit. Then you're going to leave us reviews on any site in which you could do so. Specifically, iTunes couldn't hold the voice anymore.
I know. I was like, I was enjoying it. I've talked about this. I want accent episodes where we just
I want old man episode. I'm going to continue to push it.
Keep wanting it. Where's old Indie Pod? You know what's funny is
good, dude.
Before you get to that next part, the whole time that you mentioned that part of like, I'm going to hit 40 and you were like, I'm 26. I was like, wow, 14 more years of this, huh? That's all I got to make it till.
I'm glad that was your first thought. I'm like, I'm going to die at 40. And you're just like, only have to hold out for 14 more years.
That's all, baby. That's all we got.
Please leave us reviews on any site in which you could do so. Specifically, iTunes helps us out a lot. Helps us get in them sweet algorithms. Supposedly, I have no fucking idea. But it has a good chance of helping us reach more people, reach a wider audience, and spread the word about indie games. So please do so. That would be amazing. And lastly, we got to thank all of our amazing patrons at the $3 tier or higher. If you give us any amount of money, if you have ever given us any amount of money, you are absolutely fantastic. I love you. Maybe just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like maybe my wet lips to your lips.
What if I talk to you about this? What if I
said? Okay, what if though? Nah, that one was weird. I was gonna.
What if there was a tier specifically for Vaughn kisses?
I feel like at least Phil would pay for that. You know,
I mean,
it would be
he's already at that tier.
You know what would be weird? If we did that tier, it would be like a $15 tier or whatever. But then I like how cheap my kisses are. But I was like, it would be like a $15 tier. And then Phil would be the only one to do it. So I would have to pay, like he would give me $15. I would have to pay for a flight to like fucking Australia
every month.
Like several $100s just to go give him a kiss. I'd be like, I don't know if this is business savvy. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're just not getting the ROI on this one's a little bit off. You know, I'm just not feeling it.
Look, when you're a smaller company, or in this case, a smaller duo, people trying to start a podcast, you gotta make some sacrifices to build your way up.
You
know?
gotta hustle.
You gotta hustle. You gotta
spend money, make money.
That's true. That's true.
People find out, they pay you $15. You pay however much it is to go to where they are. They give them a kiss on the mouth. Doesn't matter. They're in the bathroom. They're pooping. You pop through the wall. Kiss them on the mouth. Like that's, this is where me and my ghost friend are going to come in handy, bro. What if I pay the ghost, like, I don't know, one imaginary currency? Like one time they get to look at my butt, but I know they're looking at my butt. You know what I mean? Like maybe they will go kiss people. Just saying. Because like it's a different feeling. Like if you were to just look at somebody's butt and they didn't know, but now I would let them, and I'd be like, look at the butt, you know?
Yeah.
Just saying. I realized saying that made me sound like some sort of predator. I'm going to move past it. Thank you so much to all of our $3 tiers and higher. We got Ethan, a gamer for fun. John. It's just John. We'll see. Mixamatosis, a.k.a. Mix. Zach Durham, Chase Hopkins, Philip Renshaw, the one by no proposed. Yeah. Josh Nichols, a.k.a. Active Josh, and Sam Fillion from Canada. Thank you all so much. You are also amazing. And Big Josh Boy, you've been playing a bunch of indie games, and I want to hear about them. You've been playing Pikuniku by a whole bunch of people that I refuse to say their names because that's way too fucking much. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it. Okay, we got like Arnaud de Bock, Rémi Forcadell, Alan Zucconi. That guy's got like a pasta name.
Yeah.
That's got to be a pasta dish. I'm gonna be real.
I'd eat a bowl of Zucconi.
Calum Bowen. Boom, dude. Fucking 100%. Those names definitely correct. Not a single one off. Definitely didn't butcher any of them.
I know. You know, like, I decided to start picking games where I look through Steam and I'm like, what's the hardest names of developers that I can find? And that's literally all I play now. And I'm just trying to look so I can make you have a terrible time reading these names every time we talk. It's pretty much what I'm doing.
At this point, like however much I make your life much more difficult because of the dumb shit that I do on this podcast, I would not actually that would totally make sense to me. I wouldn't even be annoyed about it. I'd be like,
got big brain plays, baby.
That was a good play, dude. I fucking get it. Like, game respects game. It's cool.
Gotta do it.
Whatever.
No, Pikuniku has actually been something that I've wanted to play for a while. And I've been looking for games to play with my wife. This is not a co-op game, but just games to play with her. Games that would be easy enough for her to play, for me to play, and like kind of switch off the controller at any given interval. And this is a really good one. Like it's the way I attribute it is basically like an adventure game. It's really mostly exploration. There's some harder parts that like they're like little kind of mini game sections, like arcadey sections that you can play that are harder to do. But for the most part, the actual game to it is more like walk around in this area, find some things, solve a puzzle, do some light platforming elements, and go to the next. The background story of the actual game, though, I really liked. It's this kind of like this evil corporation takes in and is like, we'll give you free money. All you got to do is let us take all your stuff. And the town's like, sure, free money. And then they're like, we don't know what to do with this now, though. But they keep taking all the stuff. It's really good. Like it's very, very clever. It's quirky. It's really fucking weird. And honestly, my favorite thing about it, and probably my favorite thing from my wife's perspective too, is just your character is literally just like a ball with legs, like lanky ass legs. If you watched Home for Imaginary, like Foster, what is it? Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That's what it is. The character who likes to play basketball, he's just all legs, basically. Like that's kind of,
he's like red. And he's fucking just gigantic.
Fucking that's kind of what your character reminds me of a lot. And everyone in the world, they like walk, but to walk, they'll like walk a little bit and then they all kind of just bounce and like do forward flips, but usually just land on their head and then keep bouncing. And that's just like the normal way that everyone walks in that world. And you have like a button to literally just turn yourself into a ball, like to detract your legs and just to spin around. And then it just makes you go faster. And like, I don't know. It's everything about this game is so weird, but in a good way. And it's just so cute. It's so silly. Some of the platforming can be a little annoying because you like the game is wacky where your movement is kind of like you're rolling around. And so like some of the platforming can be super annoying because it's like I wanted to jump, but my character is like on the top of its head. So it like won't jump when I say, and it's like I'm getting to it and it has to wait until it fully rolls. And I just hate that because from a precision perspective, it's like kind of off, but it goes with the whole charm and the love of this game. Plus the like the music, like the soundtrack in the background and just all of the characters that you meet. Like there's so many good just elements that are packaged into this. It is a short experience. It's like only a couple hours. But I still would wholeheartedly recommend it. Plus it's Game Pass. Gotta love free.
Have you ever seen the movie Small Soldiers? I've asked you this before.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, Punch It and Scratch It. The guy who looks like a rhino or like a mix between a rhino and an elephant, one of the Gorgonites. Mm-hmm. And then there's that like little creature that slingshots off of him. That's Scratch It. The main character looks exactly like that. That was the most apt description I've ever given. Just letting everybody know. If you know, you know. Yeah, just like I can imagine somebody's listening to this, they're like, oh, it does look like Scratch It from the Gorgonites. Like, yeah, dude. It's awesome. No, Pikuniku has always seemed really interesting. I actually didn't know that it was like more of an adventure game than anything. That's kind of interesting. Like, I actually thought it was somewhat of a platformer, which is obviously not. Like I don't know.
It is like it has platformer elements, but I would never classify it as like a like you think of like Mario. Mario is a platformer. This is nowhere near like that kind of structure. This is you're just constantly going through different parts of the world and there are platforming elements to it. There's like pieces where you have to be good about, you know, jumping from one area to the next, and there's like little like springs in areas, but at no point would I just deem this as like a platformer game.
Oh, okay. All right. But did you have fun? You and your wife? Did you have fun playing?
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. Like I said, there's parts where like there are semi-boss fights, a few of them, and then there's like these harder levels, like things like that my wife wouldn't do, but she loved the exploration part and just jumping around and talking to the characters and things like that. And then it would be like an easy toss the controller of like, let me take care of the boss. Okay, here you go. So I enjoyed it. It was a good experience. Like I said, Game Pass makes it really easy because, you know, we just get to try a game and see if we like it. Because my wife is notoriously bad for me buying a game and then playing it one night and then just never playing it again, which also makes it good that this is a short experience because we could do it in a quick succession of nights. But that being said, I think it was good. Like it kept our attention enough. It was cute enough for her and, you know, silly enough. And I don't know. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, it seems like you're playing a lot of adventure games. So the other game you've been playing is Toem by Something We Made. Is this not an adventure game as well? I remember way back when we originally looked at it, it had like that photography function in it. And I thought that was really cool. Yes. So how exactly would you describe Toem?
Yeah, so Toem, first off, shout out to a PR company that gave me the code, Greg Miller's wife works for
Pop Agenda.
Pop Agenda. Yes, I don't know why that couldn't come to me. Thank you for Pop Agenda giving me the code. Toem is an interesting game. It is all in black and white. It is mainly based around taking photographs, but it is it is like an exploration game. It is an adventure game. It very much is. The whole premise of the story is you're moving from your house to this one location. You're on an adventure basically to go see this monument and to take pictures of it, to see it, to enjoy that experience, right? And it's something that your mother is, or maybe grandmother, I'm not too sure, it didn't really go into that, or maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, but like is super excited and was like, oh, when I was a kid, I did this. So it's kind of, it seems like a passing thing where like in that family, they go see
it's
that
a rite
monument.
Of passage.
Yeah. And so which is really weird. What you do is they get through this idea of you moving from place to place by going on a bus stop, but they're like, here's a community card. If you help people, we give you free rides. And so you help people by taking pictures of things or doing things with your camera. Like there's little mini games where you'll have to find certain objects and like keep the scope on it for long enough to showcase where it is so that you could tell the person. Like there's one where there's a storm. And the guy's like, oh, my lighthouse is broken. I can't see anything. And so you have to go out there with your camera and wait for the lightning to strike. And every time lightning strikes, you can find one of the ships and then zoom in on it and show him where it is so that he can help them. And so it's like little cool mini games like that. And then just taking pictures of general things and trying to catalog. And there's a bit of like a collectathon where it's like you could take a picture of everything and anything. And there's an encyclopedia to like, oh, there's this creature, there's this person. And there's like certain achievement pictures where it's like you have to do certain things to get them to look a certain way, or to, you know, very similar to like a Pokemon Snap kind of throw an apple at a person at the right time and you'll get a good photo, right? Or you'll knock someone like a Pokemon into the lava and now they've evolved for some reason. That kind of element
for some reason
that kind of element plays into it, where it is a puzzle game in a lot of ways. There's also a really cool, just you get a lot of cosmetics, little things that you could put on your character. And at some points it's like a hodgepodge of items that make no sense. But then other times you'll get like a scuba diving helmet and you can only go into this one area of water with the helmet. So it's very much a adventure game where you're exploring, you're getting items, you're being able to solve puzzles, you're taking pictures to help people, you're doing these little things and building that community card until you get farther and farther. You have to each area so far, it's like 7 things, but there's like 15 things that you can do. And the journal will show you all of the like question mark areas or the type of tasks that you have. And once you get that number done that they need or require in that area, you can then leave and go to the next one, or you could 100% it and try to take all the pictures that you can. I enjoyed it. It's one of those games where this is not my style. Like it's not. I thought it was fun and I enjoyed a lot of the little moments in it, as well as I thought it was unique, some of these mini games and things that happen. But as you start to play more and more, it does kind of get a little bit repetitive, and it feels like it was more of like, it's a chill game where you can just enjoy it. Like, I think that this is a great game if you want to just have a lazy afternoon and just take some cool pictures and help out some people, right? Like, I think that this very much fits a niche for a lot of people, but it just wasn't mine. Good jelly, not my jam. I'd still recommend it. Just if you're not into this type of genre of, you know, calm, casual, just taking photos of things, you're probably not going to like this. I enjoyed it, but I didn't beat it. I played about half of it and I was like, I get what it is. I enjoyed my experience, but I have no intention of going back. But that's not to say it's not a good game. That's just not for me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the game looks really cute. I don't think it would be probably my jam either, but I do think it looks really cute. And the way that you're somewhat describing it reminds me, and I know this is a bit weird considering it was like my game of the year that year, but it reminds me of a short hike, even though this one looks like less of my jam. But yeah, you played a short hike, right?
No, I didn't, but I've watched someone stream it because it's fairly short given the name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's...
It is.
Pardon the pun, but it is extremely short. Like you can finish that shit in like 30 minutes. Basically.
Yeah.
Like it's not a long game, but it does kind of remind me of that, just kind of like this chill experience of just going around and kind of solving a couple puzzles to eventually get to an end, which just happens to be a landmark that your family frequents. Like it's very similar to a short hike in a sense. Yeah. But I think this it looks fun. I think the photography aspect of it is pretty interesting. Granted, like I've said before, I like photography as an aspect of a game, not the only like real gameplay mechanic. Yeah. Like I'm like Umurangi Generation, I believe is how you're supposed to say it. I have literally no idea. I'm not a big fan of that kind of a photography game, but just photography and Dead Rising. I've talked about this a couple times. Like I love that shit.
I hate it so much. I hate when they shoehorn a camera in it, dude.
I love it.
It's so wrong.
It's so stupid. It's never like, that's the thing is like, it's never good, but I love it. I love it.
It's always
it's like games when they specifically try to do this, they can make photography fun and they can make it good, but like, nah, Beyond Good and Evil and fucking Dead Rising did not do it well in the slightest, but I love that shit.
Oh my goodness.
It was so good. For me this week, haven't been playing any more indie games. I actually really haven't been playing anything this week. I did some schoolwork. I edited a video that I'm making for just like my own like personal stuff.
Nice.
It's like a tips and tricks video for beginners and playing New World since I played a shitload of
Oh,
that
look
beta.
at you.
So I was like, why not?
Look at you.
Why not? If I'm going to stream the fucking game, I might as well just go full bore and be like, I'll just fucking do this.
Turns out I might not have to wait 14 years for this show to end.
Yeah. So I just did that. I went down, of course, to the funeral, came back and watched, and I'm not even joking, all of Sex Education season 3 in a single sitting. And I felt I got problems. I was like, I love that I did it so much, but I also was just like the next day I was like, I fucked myself. Now I have nothing to watch. Like I was like, I can.
Goodness.
Here's the thing. Now I'm just back on my Isekai train, dude. I re-upped my Crunchyroll subscription. I've been watching hella Isekai. Like, so I'm a spider. So what? Fuck yeah, dude. Somebody dies, gets reincarnated in another world as a spider. It's great. It's fucking awesome.
That sounds
I love
awful.
it.
Sometimes you get on these rants and I will only understand half of the words you say.
Yeah.
I have to wait for more context.
I feel like that's like the same way when I try to speak to my parents and stuff like that. Like when I just try to explain anything of this.
On my isekai train to your parents, they would be like, where are you going? Like,
they're like,
you're taking a train to where?
I don't know if there are any passenger trains that run here. Like, are you going to Salt Lake just to get on a train? Like, I don't really, that's more of a trolley too. And yeah, I can see that happening. No, but I really haven't been doing much this week, just kind of doing shit. So not really playing any games, but you know what? We got to talk about some news. Of course, as I hinted at the beginning of the show, Toby Fox has officially released the second chapter of Deltarune, so you can play that on PC and Mac. It doesn't seemingly depend on, like, you don't have to play it on the same PC that you did before, as long as you kind of remember the choices you made and such. So I think it's kind of interesting. You played the first chapter of Deltarune, right?
Here's the thing.
And I say choices that you made, I just mean like the story itself.
Right.
You'd need to remember that.
I thought I did.
You did. Way back when you told me you played it. Yeah. And you talked about it.
But I feel like I'm so confused.
Are you a fucking liar?
No, here's the thing. I looked through, because I was like, oh, I don't have a different computer. Like, I would have had to play on this computer. And I looked through all of my computer files and I'm like, I didn't find anything in here for it. So I was like, oh, maybe I played on my Switch, but like I don't remember having that there, and also that wouldn't help me. And then I was looking at the other day, this was like a month or two ago, I was looking at someone who was doing like hard boss fights in Deltarune, and I like watched someone do something that was pretty incredible, and I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. But I don't remember fighting that guy at all. So I'm like, did I really play this? Like, I have no idea what I did at this point. I
feel like you did. I mean, I thought I did too. What libraries did you check?
So I went through, well, because I went to go install the game and then said, okay, what folder is it trying to put it in? Looked through in both of the hard drives that I have in this computer for that folder structure, and it wasn't there. So I was like, I don't know.
Weird.
I have no idea.
That's pretty odd. Yeah, I vividly remember you telling me about this.
I thought so too. That's why I was so blown away when I was like, oh, number 2 is coming out. I'll check it out. And then I was like, wait, did I play 1? And I have no idea. And whatever. The point is, I clearly don't remember anything from it. So I'm just going to play it again. So this is one of those things where, like, if this happened not on a Friday and right before the weekend when I have like a bunch of like family stuff and things to do, I probably would have played it and been like, here's my opinion on it, and would have been much more thoughtful and topical. I guess topical is like ointment, though, but
do we really ever try to be like,
yeah, I guess
fresh off the presses? We're just like, hey, most people don't even care about indie games to talk about them, so we'll do.
I mean, I did a little bit of old, little bit of new, because Toem just launched and Pikuniku is like 2 years ago. So I'm trying. I'm trying. All right.
You're doing a good job. You're doing better than I am. Don't you worry. Yeah, that's all you got to. Like, I set an aggressively low bar. So you just, anything you do, you literally could just look at a video like an indie game on Steam you did more than I did.
Did more work.
You know what I mean?
Did more work. But the point is, eventually I will get to it because I do want to play chapter 1 and 2, because I enjoyed Undertale. So I assume I'll enjoy this. I don't know. So far, what I've seen from like random things on Twitter, which obviously isn't very, there's a lot of people who are diehard fans, so they're obviously going to like it no matter what. But reception has been pretty positive from what I can see.
Yeah, I would say it would be hard not to be biased against Undertale at this point and moving into Deltarune, because it was just so popular. Like, it changed a lot of people. It's like, I didn't even personally really love Undertale, but I still think that I would even have a bias. So like, you would basically just have to have somebody who never played Undertale, has no idea what it is, and just have them play Deltarune.
Yeah.
Like that would,
which ultimately I think there's even like not a warning, but a message on their site that says something to the nature of like, you should play. Like, this game is done with the intention for people who have already played Undertale.
Yeah, I would assume so as well. Because like, I mean, the weirdest part about that is because Toby Fox said that this is not a sequel to Undertale. Right. He was like, this is not a sequel or a prequel to Undertale or some bullshit like that. And it's like, if you do put that on your website, yes, it is. Like, it is in some fashion related to Undertale. Like, it is either a prequel, a sequel, or it's like at the same time, just in a different place. Like, you know it is. So whatever. I think it's pretty cool. People can play chapter 2 right now, but heading over to our actual news story for today. This is written by Adam Bankhurst. It's over on IGN, and it is Toby Fox will release Deltarune's chapters 3, 4, and 5 at the same time. Despite Deltarune Chapter 2 being released by itself, series creator Toby Fox has said that his goal is to have 3, 4, and 5 arrive at the same time. Toby Fox shared the news on Deltarune.com following the release of Deltarune Chapter 2 and said that while he had originally planned on releasing new chapters only when all of them were finished, he realized that it's hard for both creators and fans to go a long time without a release. Fox also shared that chapters 3, 4, and 5 will be when he will ask for people to buy the game at a price that is currently unknown, but will be more than Undertale, which currently costs $14.99. So I'd probably assume around $19 or like $24.99.
Yeah,
I feel like are just completely reasonable asking prices. Maybe even that's selling it short. Maybe that's kind of cheap because people really love Undertale.
Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to be a bitch about this, you could put a high premium on it. Like,
well, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know that I'd say if you want to be a bitch, but I'd say that from what I've heard, and I can't say for sure because I haven't played, or I don't remember any that I've played if I have, a lot more has gone into this game as far as intricate systems, as far as the actual like art and music. Like, other people are part of this or more part of this. So I think it is justified that you would want a bigger asking price based on having a bigger budget or a bigger team. You know, like I think that makes sense. And seemingly, if there's chapters 1 and 2, and I think I heard someone say it took them like 10 hours or so, or 10 hours plus to get through those 2 chapters. Like, if that's the case, and I might be talking out of my ass, but I remember something about that of like, they're pretty meaty chapters. If there's also another 3, 4, and 5, like, it seems reasonable because Undertale was a short game. Like, you know, there's a lot that you can do in it, but from a time perspective of like you just playing it like through different playthroughs, it's usually only like 5 hours or so.
Yeah, I shouldn't say like if you wanted to be a bitch, you could charge a high price. The reason I said that because I was like, you could charge $60 for Deltarune.
Oh, sure. And yeah, there would be people
I
who
feel
would buy
like
it,
people
for
would
sure.
easily buy it.
Yeah.
But there would also be there would be a group of people who are like, I'm not going to spend $60 on an indie game. Like, there would absolutely be those people. Yeah. So and this is something that I believe we talked about like a while ago because of one of our listener questions, was that I said that I don't think anyone will pay $60 for pixel art ever again.
But I think they would if they was for this.
You think so?
I think.
Oh, okay. I should say, dude, I think some people would buy it, but I'm talking about like the majority of people. It's like some people will buy physical copies for $120.
Oh my God, you're so dumb.
But like, not everyone will.
I think that this has such a large base and such a diehard base. Like, the people who like Undertale, they love Undertale. Like there's so many.
It changed my life, dude. I can see color now.
There's so many people who will die for this series, or just this world in general. I 100% can see a ton of people paying $60 if it comes out. I don't think they'll enjoy it. I think there will be people who will be pissed, but you're going to have the same people who do the Nintendo BS where they're like, well, it's because Nintendo is quality games, so they get away with charging $60 for like a 20-year-old game that's just slightly rezzed. Like,
no, it's a dick move.
It's just,
like,
I mean, yeah, but like if you can get away with it, you can get away with it. I don't think.
Oh yeah, it's things only have the price that they have because we are willing to pay it. If no one would pay $60 for a Nintendo game, like no one would pay $60 for like a Donkey Kong Country remastered or whatever,
I'd pay it.
Then it wouldn't be $60. It would be far less. I feel like that's a large part of the reasons that indie games don't tend to like get in those higher territories. Sure, people bought Chris Tales for $40, but I doubt that it was like as many as if they would have released it at 20.
I would not have. I've played a little bit of it just because it's Game Pass, but I don't think I would hit the 40. But it goes into the idea that I think it's not about it being indie game. I think it's about understanding who the developer is and having trust in that system, that company, right? Toby Fox, people trust the dude. They know what came out of him. They know that if he did Undertale, Deltarune is most likely going to be just as good, if not better, or, maybe a little worse, depending on how you really see it. But like, there's room for another banger of a game, right? Like, that's why I think people would pay $60, not because like it's an indie game and it's just good, but just because they have
because of
trust
Toby Fox
in Toby Fox, in his previous work.
To prove your point, I think during that earlier discussion about like indie game prices, I think I literally said that I would pay $70 to play Silk Song because I love Team Cherry that much and I love Hollow Knight that much. So I totally understand why people would pay more. Yeah. And I think that Toby Fox could actually easily could ask a larger asking price. Like, I think Toby Fox could easily ask for $40 out of this game. No one would bat an eye. They'd be like, all right, cool. Especially because he's giving out 2 chapters for free. Yeah. Like, this is like if what you said is correct, that it's about to like 10 hours, it's like a 10-hour demo for free. Like, you just fucking play it. But I think it's pretty cool. Also, just wanted to hit on this. It's also in the article. Fox released both of these for free, but also asked players who could afford it to buy another indie game. To spend the money on somebody else. Oh, Toby Fox is so fucking cool for doing that. Like that's a real way to like foster an amazing indie game community. And this is why I love so many indie games and indie devs, is because they really seem to be a community. Like we see AAAs just taking pot shots at each other left and right, but I feel like indie games don't often do that. And if they do it in like a sarcastic tone. Or like it's kind of like how you and I give each other shit. Like we joke about it to each other, but it's never real. It's always just a joke. So I very much appreciate Toby Fox. I think it's really, really awesome.
I loved, before you go into it, the next quote that I've seen from a different article was him basically saying like the reason why chapter 2 is free, because originally it was supposed to be just chapter 1 and then the rest were going to be paid for. He was like, people are struggling right now. Like the world is kind of crappy. So like people need a little bit of just like enjoyment.
They need a little joy in their life.
For? Yeah. What is going on with me today?
I think we're going for enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, because times are tough, man. So I appreciate it. I think it's super cool. And I just looked up on the website howlongtobeat.com. People generally say chapter 1 takes 3 hours for just main storying it, and then 4.5 main storying for chapter 2. So like right there is 7.5. And then you can go up for completionists by like another hour or 2. So like you're hitting that like almost 10-hour mark. Yeah.
I think it's really just amazing. I really appreciate what Toby Fox is doing. I think it's awesome. So that's pretty much all I had to say on this topic. Do you have anything else you want to add before we hop into new stuff? News Queen?
Yeah, I guess I guess the interesting part about this is like we have no idea when this will ever come out, like for real. Like chapters 3, 4, and 5. And I also don't even know if that's really the end of it. I just think that that's the next time that he would push out an update. Because I looked at the website, like a lot of people are just saying it's like, oh, chapters 3, 4, and 5, that's it. But the way that they wrote it is vague enough that it seems like they're saying they could be saying that chapters 3, 4, and 5 is when they would ask for money, but not really that's when the game is officially done. They're just saying when 5 is done. That's when. Yeah,
it's essentially like an early access period.
Yeah.
They're like, you'd have a lot of content to go through, but it's still not done.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
I'm not 100% sure, but that's how I read into it. I know there's articles out here that are saying like, oh, that's when it's over, but we'll have to see. But that's still like, this could be forever. And I think it's so funny that Toby Fox has big enough clout where he could just be like, shadow drop, and people and servers break. Like literally for itch, I think it was itch.io. They had like a Twitter post where they were like, yep, Deltarune killed our servers. We'll be right back.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. That like an indie dev could do that. That's just, that's absurd. That's fantastic. I really love that. And just, you know what I find crazy is the fervor for this. Like, imagine games that were episodic before, like Telltale games or like adventure games that tried the episodic nature. Often enough after the first like episode or the first little bit, even having to wait just like a half a year, a couple months, whatever, people would often drop off because they didn't want to hop in. They didn't want to have to wait, or they were just going to wait till it all came out. Yeah. But it seems like with Undertale, or at least with Deltarune, it's been like, what, 2.5 years?
It's been a long time.
Over 2 years. Like, I remembered you talking about this game when we had first started as Indie Incursion.
Yeah.
Like, this was a long time ago, and people are still this fucking excited about it. And it's still like, at this point, he basically said like, yeah, you can have these 2 bits, and then who fucking knows when the rest of this game is going to come out, like you said, and people are still that excited about it. It's just, it's crazy. It really, like, the popularity of Undertale has kind of like transcended video games in a sense, where people are just like, they just love it, not because it's a video game, but because it impacted their life that much. And that's just insane. That's amazing. But it's time for us to hop into News Cram. News Cram is our weekly wrap-up segment where we, the hosts of IndiePod and Indie Games Podcast, cram you full of all sorts of indie games news. I do want to say really quick, I don't actually cut out any of that part for the video version, so there is absolutely parts where we just like sit there uncomfortably and we're just like, eh.
I mean, usually I'm just changing the updating the doc.
Yeah,
anyway,
you're putting it on there. I think it's just so funny. Like every now and then I think about it and I'm like, maybe I should put. Nah, I'm not gonna put anything there. It's just too good.
That is the IndiePod way. Should I just make like random noises now from now on? Just be like, maybe just fill it. Just like, hey, so I mean, what do you want to do? You know, after the episode, you want to play something?
You literally like I say News Cram and then you're like.
I'm cramming.
As you're doing it. Yeah, you're basically like you're vamping, but in a really terrible way. Like that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I would love that. I think I'm going to do that next episode. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
You like literally just stand up. You're like Winnie the Poohing it. You got no pants on. You're just like, what's up?
Hell yeah, dude. You're just swinging it around. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. You give him that windmill?
I love doing that. That's my favorite.
You got that big D, dude. You can get some good force sometimes off of that. You might have to watch out, actually. You might like destroy your stuff.
Dude, it's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, I mean, it's just me and my wife in my house, but sometimes I'll be wearing sweats and I'll walk by and I'll just pull down my pants and I'll just fucking smack it around and then just pull it back up and walk away. I just gotta, you gotta show it sometimes.
Oh, okay, I get it. You know, I feel like there is like an alternate universe in which like Big Josh Boy is approached by the government of the United States and is like, hey, we need the wind generated from your furious penis movements to battle hurricanes around the world. But specifically, like I imagine like how like there are the different wizards in Tolkien's, like in Lord of the Rings, and Radagast the Brown, like really, he's like all about Mirkwood and he chills with all them animals. Like you would be the big Josh boy of like the Brown, you know what I mean? And you would just be like in Florida, a fucking whatever tornado is, it's touched down in the water. Boom, it's a fucking hurricane, because that's how it works. And then it's coming near, and you just like, you see Big Josh boy, he's chilling on a pier somewhere, and he just like, and it just shoots it back, you know?
That's how it works. Easily.
Like I appreciate you. I can't believe you do that for the United States, but like,
I'm a national treasure. What can you say?
You're amazing. Our first 3 items in new stuff come from Nintendo Life, where it supported that adventure puzzle game, The Lightbringer by Rock Square Thunder, is headed to PC via Steam and the Nintendo Switch on October 7th. That Pikmin-like game, The Wild at Heart by Moonlight Kids, is headed to the Nintendo Switch on November 16th. And the platformer Dojoran, it's like a frog, but it's a platformer. It's really interesting. Dojoran by Not Launder is now available on the Nintendo Switch. Now over to Polygon, where it's reported that there are a bunch of awesome mini games being added to Xbox Game Pass, most notably, and I say that just because I've been waiting for this game for a while. 2D action platformer Flynn Son
Are you
2D action platformer Flynn, Son of a Karimzen by Studio Thunderhorse, and Skating Sim Skatebird by Glassbottom Games are 2 big ones I wanted to pull out, because I know that a lot of people are really excited about Skatebird, and then just Flynn, Son of a Karimzen, everybody should play it. It looks really cool. But there are a bunch of others that are actually being added throughout the month of September, so just keep an eye on your Xbox Game Pass. You get to play them sweet ass indie games. Now over on Twinfinite, where it supported that 2D action platformer Death's Gambit by White Rabbit is about to get a massive update on PC and the Nintendo Switch titled Afterlife, which will add new weapons, bosses, levels, and much more to the game on September 30th. Sadly, Afterlife is not coming to the PlayStation 4 versions of the game until later. They said later in 2021, so it seems like it's possibly going to come in the next few months, but it just hasn't happened yet. Or they don't have like a specific date or window for it yet.
Right.
That first-person puzzler Escape Simulator by Pine Studio is headed to PC on October 19th. That narrative adventure game Teacup by Smarto Club is headed to all current and last-gen platforms on September 23rd. And that horror action adventure game DAP. This is also like a second game that people described as Pikmin-like. Yeah. Or at least Twinfinite did, which I thought was interesting. By Melting Parrot is headed to PC via Steam on September 29th. Now over on IGN, where it's reported where it's reported that I was thinking of the word like so much that I just said it.
Reported like.
Where it's reported that puzzle game The Last Campfire by Hello Games is headed to Steam on October 7th. It's reported that way because it was actually only released on the Epic Games Store on PC. So now it's coming to Steam. That Gothic horror RPG, the Gothic horror RPG, Darkest Dungeon 2 by Red Hook Studios is going into early access on the Epic Games Store on October 26th. This is going to get you to spend some money on that Epic Games Store, Big Josh Boy?
Nope, not even.
Why are you being such a bitch about this?
Not even close. Wait till that game is free.
Oh my god. I thought you were a big fan of Darkest Dungeon. What happened?
But I'm waiting until it's free on the Epic Game Store. Like all the other games that they promote.
All right. Okay.
No, I'm so burnt from a lot of like early access games. Like it's the same thing with like Death Trash. I have it sitting there. I've already bought it, but I'm just like, I want to wait until you're fully baked. Although I keep looking at it and I'm like, maybe I should just play it though. But there's a lot of games where I keep seeing these early access games and I'm like, I really want to play these, but I just want to wait. So I'm going to do that with this one. And I'll probably just wait till it comes to Steam anyway. So.
All right, there you go then. And to round out the group up on GameSpot, it is reported that Roguevania Dead Cells by Motion Twin and Evil Empire has received yet another free update. It's like one a month. Goodness. These people are fucking crazy. This time around, it's titled Practice Makes Perfect, and it brings a training room, one-off powers, and much more to the game. I believe it's available right now on PC and consoles.
Well, hot damn, what are we doing?
Let's freaking play Dead Cells.
Turn off the cameras. Let's just stop recording here. Let's just end the episode here. Just start playing Dead Cells.
I actually I watched a complete story up video on Dead Cells and like a couple of like its DLCs, like the Bad Seed and stuff like that. I think it's by Squatch Gaming or something like that. It's got a cool story. It's got I liked Dead Cells, but it's just like I know I'm not good enough to fuck shit up.
Didn't this one make it easier or something?
Oh, no.
No. Where did I read that?
No, it just had a training room and one-off powers. I mean, I don't think the game is any easier. They've added some like different stuff over the years, but I don't think it's necessarily any easier. Damn. But it is time to get back to all of the amazing developers. In our next segment, God Bless the Crowd, this is where the biggest of average Josh boys find something awesome for us to talk about on crowdfunding sites, and we do just so. This week, we are headed over to Kickstarter. Is this another one of the ones where the developer reached out to us to talk about it? Or did you
just saw it,
eyeball this
cool.
one?
Just saw it, looked cool, and I was like, let's do it.
All right. Thank you for this, big Josh boy. It's that...
Oh, what happened? What happened?
No, you ever just have those moments where like you have a ringing in your ear and you're like, is that real? Or is that just like me? You know what I mean?
It's always you, baby. It's always you. It's that ghost messing with you. Just in your
seriously? Yeah. Fucking blowing on my ears, some weird shit.
He's tickling your chin. He's blowing in your ears. This ghost is really... He's
like fucking my shit up.
Yeah, dude. He might have a thing for you.
Well, so goes.
It's like, can I stare at your ass?
I'll give you them. Dude, I told you.
You already made the deal.
You can stare at the booty if like you go give people kisses around the world. You know what I mean? Like that would be the tier. Kisses by the ghost. You know? It's just like, it's what you get. So the game that we're going to be talking about is over on Kickstarter. It's called Akita, King Pig Thinks Pink. What the fuck?
Yep. It's weird.
King Pig Thinks Pink. 2D hand-drawn Metroidvania. Explore a fantasy world inhabited by charming creatures with 2D hand-drawn animations for 1 or 2 players cooperatively. The developers are Karuma Games. They are looking for... I feel like it is... Yeah, I think this one's it. They have too many tiers before you get this fucking game. That one wasn't it. Okay, here we go. Standard edition of the game. Yeah. You get $24. You give them that $24. You get the freaking game. So, Big Josh boy, what do you think about Akita?
I like it. I like the we talked about this not on the actual episode, obviously, but before that, their trailer is pretty nice. I think it does a good job.
It's a bomb trailer.
I think that the music in the background very well fits it. I think that the hand-drawn style to it is really cute. I love the little characters. I think that the combat will probably not be as good because of this, because it looks kind of stiff. And then you have like these weird slashes that just go in front of you. But
again, dude, I got to get on some weird shit. The roll looks so good. It's like,
oh yeah,
looks awesome.
All right.
But the swiping left to right, like the actual attacks, they're looking off. Yeah, they looking floaty as hell.
Yeah, they look like they need a few more frames in between.
But that fucking roll, dude, is looking good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Ain't got nothing to fix there.
Yeah, I was never a fan of Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap, which is the main influence behind this. Not that I didn't like it, but it just never appealed to me. So it's kind of like similar in that. But I do like the look of it. I love the fact that it's cooperative because I'm always looking for co-op games. I enjoy playing with friends. And I think this is a pretty cool one if you got like a buddy that you really want to play a game with. I like their stance on universal language of not having to worry about translating it, but putting it in more like emojis and things to kind of get the story across. It does make it hard.
That's fucking dope. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it does make it hard, obviously, because the pro of doing something that's in this nature is that, you get to have a universal type of theme where anyone can kind of understand, like smile is happy, frown is sad, right? But it's harder to tell a story when you don't have words. So having it just in this manner, it makes it like, okay, well, how good is the story going to be? And granted, they could still have an amazing story, an amazing, like it doesn't take words to build that narrative, but it does make it much tougher. I like that you can customize your characters. I think it's cool that you get to change the swords up. And at least there's, a little bit of variety when it comes to, which is interesting since it's hand drawn. So that's a lot of time that they must have had to take. Yeah. With animating each one of these items, which goes into my last main point is that like, this is a relatively high one for Kickstarters that we usually talk about, right? This is a $24 ask, which I still think is reasonable, especially since this is hand drawn. Like that is no easy feat. But it still is something that I'm sure will turn people down or turn people off from, just because it is a higher cap that you usually see in the world of Kickstarter games. But I mean, if you are looking for what looks like a silly type of 2D action game where you can play with a friend, it's got cute little like cat people. I'm sure
it's got these really cute like anthropomorphic characters.
Yeah, I'm sure people would like it. I definitely enjoy the ghost. He's got one eye and he's got glasses.
Really? I don't think I've actually seen that character yet. But to talk about your point, I can I see it now. Yeah, that's a weird ghost. So I personally I'm a big proponent of Hyper Light Drifter. I love Hyper Light Drifter. It's a story told entirely without words, but on the same side, however much I loved that, I thought Unto the End did not do it well. Did not do what I thought would be an interesting story justice with it didn't use words. It tried to use the world and slight interactions. And in some instances, I thought it did really well with the person to person's interactions. But the overall main driving force of the game is you trying to get back to your family. And it's I've literally seen them once in this fucking game. I have no real tie to them. I didn't even know you were I wouldn't know you were trying to get home unless I read a description of this game. Mm-hmm. So I have no idea. So I think it's a tough rope to walk, but I think it can be done well, especially in this instance where they might not going for a verbal communication, but as long as they really go full bore into the little emojis or I guess things like Hyper Light Drifter, where it does little, very short snippets of video where you still have to be more inquisitive into it. You still have to think about it and try to draw it out and really get into the meaning of it. As long as they go full bore into that, I think that they can tell an interesting and compelling story. It just depends on how much they give a shit about it, or if this game is more about the gameplay and the world aspects and less about the world building and the story. I don't really know yet. The game itself does look cool though. I really like it. I love the art. That's a big reason that I think this game looks amazing is because of that art style. I love the mix of these anthropomorphic characters with more human-centric characters, this big muscle-bound dude that's chilling. And I think that's really cool. Something I've always enjoyed. I enjoy certain races in video games or in anime because they are extremely diverse. So here's another thing where I'm going to say something and you're not going to know what I'm saying because it is a weird name.
There we go.
But trust me, this is a name of an anime. I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. That is the name of an anime.
It's a hilarious premise.
It's interesting, and it's more of a slice of life's isekai where a Japanese woman worked herself to death, so when she was reincarnated into a new world, she's all about just kind of lax, and it gets a lot into weird labor practices in around the world. It's very odd, and it really preaches this work-life balance, which I think is really nice. But cool. To get to my point, there's a race in it. The demon race in it is actually they can be more it just depends on the person themselves. They can be more of a human looking visage. They can look like a wolf or a dog. They can be anthropomorphic. They can look like a whale. It's just this incredibly diverse race. And I think that's really cool and an interesting idea. And I really enjoyed that. So I think this is really, really cool how it seems to just be a community of different looking individuals. I think that's really cool. Lends a lot to visual variety. for your characters. But I'm interested to see if they like at all take that into their storytelling, because a lot of games where they have these visually diverse characters, they do obviously bring in that easy storytelling device of racism. For sure. I say easy just because it's like it's easy to make a villain when they're racist, because nobody likes racists other than racists. So it's like it's pretty easy. It's an easy villain. So I'm interested to see how they do it, but I love the game so far. Just looking at it, I think it looks awesome. $24, steep price, I'll admit. That one's a little bit of a steep one for me, but I might end up backing it, you know? Like I might. Have you seen a demo at all? They actually in their tiers, they say an early demo.
Yeah. So for like $10 or something, you get early access to a demo. It's $12 American. It's kind of cool. The demo has like this challenge arena mode where you fight like boss after boss. It's like just endless boss waves mode in it, which seems kind of cool, but it's also a demo. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's cool if you want to just give them some money and maybe get something out of it. But if you want the real game, you got to put in more than that. But yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you, so when I backed Crowsworn on Kickstarter,
right,
they did it to where like, as long as you backed it at a certain tier, they'd give you Crow Kart for free. Which is like their Mario Kart spinoff. Did I tell you that you can't play that game basically unless you are with other Crowsworn like Kickstarter backers? It's very weird. It won't just match you up with people. You can't just match up. You either have to do LAN co-op or have somebody's like seed server number or host the server. It's very weird.
Granted, that was because of the fact that it was just kind of like something they did as a prototype of just playing around, and they're like, they're not going to build a full like queue system to.
I wasn't trying to like shit on it or anything, but I did try to go play it, and I was like, I just have to play this by myself. Like, that's interesting. I think they have a Discord though, so maybe I'll hop into their Discord and be like trying to play some Crow Kart. But it was also cool because they gave you Unworthy as like an additional thing, because that was the developers project right before Crowsworn, so I thought that was cool. But yeah, just an aside, I think the game looks really cool. Do you have any last things to say about Akita?
No, I think, like I said, there's probably a lot to love in this that many people will find interesting. I'd say if you have, if you're into co-op games, you're into these 2D action adventure games, definitely give it a look.
Interesting enough, the co-op aspect is probably the only thing holding me back from backing it.
No, I figured as much. I know you hate having friends, so.
It's not necessarily that. I just I feel like when you write a game for co-op, it lessens the experience for a single player, because I feel like the two characters, how exactly does the world interact with each one? Do I get to pick which one that I play as? Like if I'm just playing by myself, I'm very interested in how
I don't know. Maybe they give you a little AI that just jumps off the world every 2 seconds.
I would hate that. If I had to play, like no matter what, it's like, this fucking cat is gonna follow your bitch ass. I'd be like, nah, I ain't playing this game.
That Back for Blood beta, that AI, they just right off the roof.
That's awesome. So it is time for us to hop into our audience questions. Philip Renshaw, the Wombat of Australia, writes in and says, what feels better, peeing after you have been holding it or pooing after you've been holding it in?
See?
What's up, Big Josh?
Which one feels better? This is what I was telling you. It comes full circle.
It does. That's very true.
The people who are the dedicated fans listening from the start of last episode to now have finally get some closure. It's definitely peeing. It's peeing.
You think so? You think that feels better?
Yes. 100%.
I would say that I think the pooping does, because I have like just that strong anxiety about it.
Not
to
anymore.
The point where, like, it's not even just the plug up my butt kind of a thing. Like now it's also the fact that all of my anxiety is gone, and I'm just like, okay, I don't have to worry about it.
Now you've got science though.
True. Science has saved me.
With science, what's your answer then?
Oh, that's a good one. See? I still got to go pooping though. It just feels better.
Goodness.
No? There's so many toxins in your body, dude. Yeah, I can hold in a pee forever. See, and I could just pee anywhere. Like, I'm not even worried. You know what I mean? Like, I could just, obviously I'm not going to, but like, I could just pee, you know?
It's true.
Just whip out my dick. I can open my door so nobody could see me. I pee on the side of the road. Like, I'm not worried about it, but I can't do that with the poop. You can't do that with the poop. That's why I think the poop feels better.
You could try.
It's just better. You know?
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't even try. I didn't even go for the sock.
Yeah.
You know? I guess maybe I should do it for the content.
Use the old sock method. That's what they say. Then you could slingshot it.
Just throw it at somebody.
Yeah.
I'm just like, have fun. Just run away. So Phil also asks, if you could instantly learn any topic, what would you choose?
I would learn, how do I equate it to all of the skills that I need for owning a home? Like all of the,
that's a lot.
All of the do-it-yourself projects that I need to know. I literally, dude, okay, this is going to be a long tangent, but a little bit of a tangent, long tangent. My washing machine broke last week.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sucks. And it was one of those things where I got all the clothes and stuff in there. I put a bunch of soap, put all the stuff. And then I go to twist the knobs, the little dial, and make it turn on. Nothing goes on.
It just blew up.
Nothing goes on. And I was like, well, that ain't good. And so I like unplug it, plug it back in, nothing. I go to the circuit breaker. Circuit breaker's fine.
I love that you tried to unplug it and plug it back in.
So here's the thing. Awesome. Here's the thing. That's a way to reset it. So it is valid.
Often enough with devices, that's actually all you have to do, but it is something that's like so memed on that it's like you just don't believe it at this point, but it works. Yeah.
So doesn't do anything. I talked to a person, like a neighbor who had fixed theirs recently, and they gave me like the way to like factory reset it, I guess. I don't know if it's factory reset, but it's basically like you have to unplug it for a minute, you plug it back in, and then you like lift the lid over and over again like 6 times. It's like weird like it's stupid like
I really wish that
BS.
This wasn't actually a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Just wanted to see if 100%,
100% a real thing. And you do it, and then it like came on for a second and then kicked back off. And I was like, God damn it. And I was like, dude,
that blows.
I'm gonna have to fucking fix my, like, I don't even know. And so I look into the like what's happening, because it's clearly just the electricity part of it. So I'm like, okay, it's got to be the circuit board. And I look, and there's like a video, and it's like, you could tell that this is broken because this piece is slightly out. And I'm like, okay, I could do this. Let me take out the circuit board. So I take apart the washing machine, and I get this like circuitry in my hands, and I look at it, and I look at my wife, and I go, this is as far as I can get. And like, I don't know what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, that does really suck.
Literally no. And so I'm like, I'm pushing them. I'm like, is something loose? Is something burnt out? I'm like trying to look at them. I was like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And then I'm just like, for the hell of it, I'm like, let me just plug it back in and try it again. And then it worked. I did literally nothing. Put it back, and now it's still working. And I don't know. And I'm like, I guess we're just
dude, I'm telling you, bro, like last week, how I said, like, on occasion, I'll talk to my electronics and be like, you better fucking work or I'm going to pound you into outer space. Here's the thing. You didn't even do that. You actually physically took apart this machine, and then it was like, fuck, dude, this guy's going to murder me.
Business.
Yeah. Like you literally tortured your washing machine into working. Just saying. Technology has feelings.
Yeah.
There's ghosts in our technology.
Yeah. I took my washing machine's top off. It's nice.
Oh, damn, it's big nice. Josh boy. It's
nice.
For me, if I could instantly learn any topic, there are like 2 things. One is like a practical choice. Instantly learn everything about cars. Easy. Because I'm seriously so fucking terrified about anything with my car, but I know that mechanics exist. So I do not have the, I have zero energy to look into cars.
Do you get nervous that they're always screwing you over?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. Every time you go in, you like drive in your car and you're just like, oh yeah, because it always happens. You're just like, I just got an oil change or whatever. You come in the next time, that person didn't say anything, but this person's like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And you're like, was the other guy not saying it? Or are you just trying to get shit out of me? Yeah. So I've just started being like, nah, like I'll just straight up ask. I'll be like, will my car run without it? And they'll be like, yes. And I'm like, will it cause long lasting damage? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then don't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just like, I went to Les Schwab to get my tires rotated, and they were like, "Oh, you're like." They basically told me that like my car's wobbly, and that it's like
not good for your suspension.
Yeah, like certain hooks have broken off to the point where like if the wind hits me, it moves more than a normal car would. And they were like, "Would you like us to fix it with the parts and everything? It'll come out to like $200." And I was like, "No, I'll be fucking wobbly. Like I don't give a shit. Like fucking wind is gonna hit me either way. It's just a law of nature. Like I don't care." So I'm driving around, and I'm on the fucking freeway, and I'm like, "Wow."
I can't. Oh my goodness. I can't wait for the one car buff that listens to this podcast who's like, "That's a serious issue."
Yeah. I can't wait for it. Yeah, dude, it's going to be awesome. I mean, I would learn everything about cars as like a practical choice, but then the second one would be video game development because I would love to actually develop a video game. But once again, I know that I do not actually have the mathematical skill or like the skill in mathematics to make a video game or to like code. So, but if I could just learn how to do it all just instantly, just like, that'd be awesome.
That was one of the ones that I thought about. The other one would be like to cook. Like I'd love to be like a 5-star chef and just be like, fucking bam.
Also, if we're making crazy wishes and it's like, hey, how exactly am I learning any topic? You know what I mean? Fucking magic, bro. And I'm not talking about like rabbit in a hat magic. I'm talking about like real magic. You know what I mean? Like it's like I can make a fireball with my hands. You know what I mean? Like that'd be pretty cool because how exactly am I learning this topic immediately? There's some sort of like divine intervention. There's some sort of like weird ethereal shit going on. I'm just saying, I'll be like, you know what? I want to use magic. And they're like, what? And I'd be like, but like real magic, like anime magic. Oh, yeah. And they'd be like, fuck, you got me, dude. They're trying to genie me where you have to use specific words. And I'm like, anime magic. And then they make me into a magical girl and I get fucked. But whatever.
Quite literally. I think that going on that magic topic, but still keeping my chef idea, I'd love to be able to snap a finger and be like, a sandwich or like whatever dish and just like.
Very cool. That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
Especially like, do you have to like, in your mind, this ability, would you snap your fingers and it's like the best version of that sandwich? Or could you be like a Subway meatball sub and like snap your finger and it would like be the best
Subway meatball sub you could possibly get?
See, that's what I'm wondering. Like, could you do that? Or would it be the thing where it's like, I want a meatball sub. You snap your fingers. It's just like dog shit, but you still have a meatball sub.
It's still a meatball sub at the end of the day.
I feel like that would genie you. Like that would be the genie thing to do where it's like, yeah, you can snap your fingers and get a sandwich or like whatever, but it's going to be the worst version of that.
I mean, the worst version of a meatball sub is still pretty okay.
Fair point.
I would just only use foods that are like that. Like you can't like, I think a lasagna, it's pretty hard to fuck something up like a lasagna or something that's just like all cheese and sauce and like it just melds, you can, plus then what a fucking hero.
I mean, I'm a staunch lasagna.
I know. I specifically used it. But look, I'd be a hero, man. I'd go to these third world countries and I'd be like, give me them snaps. All this food would just appear and I'd be like, you're welcome. And I'd go home.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And I think if they're that hungry, the worst meatball sub would still be okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the worst meatball sub on earth is still better than nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
That's definitely, yeah. I mean, I've never had the worst meatball sub on earth, but like, I don't know. Also, because everybody's got different shit. I would say, like, yeah, it would have to be like based on Jeff Ramsey's standards. You know what I mean? It's just like the worst meatball sub that Jeff Ramsey has ever had. That's the one that you get. That's probably a shit meatball sub because he did Kitchen Nightmares, dude. And he did the
Gordon Ramsay?
Fuck, who did I say?
Jeff Ramsey?
I don't even know who Jeff. That's a fucking guy from like Rooster Teeth. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay. I was like, ah.
I was gonna let it slip because I was like, maybe it's his brother, and I don't know.
Maybe he's actually talking about the guy from Rooster Teeth. No, Gordon Ramsay, like Gordon Ramsay. He did all that shit where he like screams at people in their kitchen at their own restaurants. So it's like Gordon. He's had a shitty meatball sub. Fucking Jeff Ramsay.
I was like,
you're like, I love the fact you get to Kitchen Nightmares and you're like,
I was
Jeff
like, okay,
Ramsey's in an episode of Kitchen Nightmares? That's pretty crazy. Like,
now there's something weird about this.
Must have missed that episode. Phil also writes in and says, if Steam out of the blue offered a subscription service where you could pay or you could play every game on its platform for a monthly subscription fee, how much would you be willing to pay for that?
Ooh.
You could play every game on there.
That's good. So here's the thing. I would be willing to pay no more than 30.
Okay. Right.
Because I think that realistically I could play about that much also with, having like Game Pass or something like that. Play that much to get value out of it, because unfortunately I just don't have much time for video games anymore. Yeah,
it's like if the subscription service was $100, you couldn't really justify. However awesome it was, you can't justify that time.
I think it would be crazy, and I think that it would never happen. But two, if it did, never. The price would have to be pretty high, because it's like every game. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I wonder. For me, the price that I would be willing to pay would be like, $30.
Yeah.
Like I would not pay anymore. But yeah, they would definitely, if that ever happened, they'd be like $500. And you could play every game
forever
for a full month. Just also imagine that this is like a monthly subscription. So you would have to
I can't do that.
Yeah, and then I imagine it's just like PlayStation Plus or whatever. The second that it lapses, it's just like, nope, and just takes all your games back. Shit.
Yeah, for sure.
That would fucking suck, but
I don't know.
That is an interesting one though. Because you could play anything, dude. You could play Subverse.
You know how bad?
No one would know.
That's not true. That has nothing to do with no one would know. People would still see it.
No, I'm saying it wouldn't be in your purchase history. You could turn that shit off, but it won't be in your purchase history. It would just be like
people could look at your previously played games. That shit gives you achievements. You
can
find
shut
that.
the fuck up,
dude. When you start playing it, I'm gonna find you.
Oh my gosh, I've thought about buying it.
I know
joke.
You
I've
did.
been like,
I know. You're like,
it's just worth it.
I'm gonna be
Can I
honest.
get a review on Subverse?
I'm gonna be honest. The game looks good. You take out that anime like hentai bullshit out, I think it would be a fun game for me.
Got to put more in there. More.
No,
I need more.
No, thank you.
You know. Moving on to Dennis, the obsessed polygon. They write in and say, have either of you done cosplay? If so, which character did you portray? If not, is there any character you'd ever consider cosplaying as? And I love that it doesn't like even try to do like the emoji things. It's just like smile.
Well, that's how it's written in Discord.
Yeah, it is a little odd. So they also gave a little bit of context here. I met someone dressed as Thanatos from Hades yesterday and took a picture with them. The fact that I was so starstruck. For some reason, I read Starbucks and I was like, what?
I'm so Starbucks right now.
I was so starstruck in the moment was an amusing realization and made me wonder what would it be like to provide such a moment for somebody else if I ever decided to try cosplaying. So, Big Josh Boy, have you either cosplayed? If so, which character did you portray? And is there like anybody you would think of doing?
No. The closest that I've come to cosplaying was I created a pretty dope looking Finn from Adventure Time, like Halloween costume. But I've never gone to like a con with an actual costume. I've gone to conventions before, but just never been like dressed up and whatnot. I'm not opposed to it. I've never really been big into conventions anyway. So it's never been like my scene. I think it's super cool. I love the idea of people being super excited and being starstruck, because it honestly just reminds me of like the adult version of going to Disney and getting like an autograph from Disney characters. But I think it's super cool. Like if that brings you joy, if other people like giving that joy, like super cool. I am not good at cosplaying in the sense of like I wouldn't be able to design any costume and be like, I'd have to pay someone to make it for me, and then I would just walk around, and like I feel like that kind of
defeats the
purpose, because then I'm just wearing a costume like that I didn't create or put any thought into. Originally, I had a buddy of mine when we were big into Kingdom Hearts. We wanted to go as a Heartless and a Nobody. I'm clearly a Nobody, which doesn't make sense.
I love that a Nobody just kind of looks like a human-shaped like sleeping bag. Like it has the zipper and everything. So if you could just get a skin-tight sleeping bag with a zipper at the top, you could easily be a Nobody.
Plus, how hot would I look? You know what I'm saying?
You'd look pretty good.
You show off those
especially
good curves.
If it was skin-tight.
Like,
you got that fat bulge, like David Bowie.
You know what's funny about fat bulge is I literally bought pajamas today, and they're like silk ones. They're Batman ones. So cool.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. And I put them on, and I was like, "What do you think?" And she's like, "You got a bulge there. Those aren't gonna work. Don't go outside with those.
You got that male camel toe. You need to chill a bit."
And I was like, "It's fine. People aren't gonna notice it. It's not that crazy." She's like, "You're building a tent there," and I was like, well,
dude, just big dick problems, bro.
I was
big
like,
dick problems.
well,
You're like, man, it sucks that I'm so well endowed. I can't wear my pajama pants. Oh no.
But it's so funny because she's like, well, you could have them, but like you can't walk the dog in them or like walk around. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's gonna be nighttime or early in the morning. No one cares. No one's gonna be looking at my dick. Like, what are you?
You're like, we live in Florida. People like fucking eat people's faces on bath salts.
It's
Nobody
true.
gives a shit. Like, I'm pitching a tent over here. Nobody cares. As long as they aren't seeing my penis, it's fine.
Anyway, weird tangent. Cosplaying. Yeah, I don't know that I would do a character. I think Finn from Adventure Time is probably the craziest you're gonna get out of me. But I did look super cool. I was like, that was when I was really big into Adventure Time.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
So I've never cosplayed either, mostly because of like the effort that would have to go into it, especially because I would want one of those elaborate costumes just like you. And it's like, are you really cosplaying if you didn't make it yourself, or at least aspects of it? There's some super fucking cool cosplay artists.
Dude.
Like, they make awesome shit. If I was like, oh, here's one again, if I could learn to any topic at the snap of a finger, this would also be one of them. Like, how to fucking make some dope ass costumes. Because if I could do that, you best believe I'm cosplaying as Cocytus from Overlord. Like, I'd be a fat ass beetle boy. Like, that'd be sweet, you know? Like, that'd be awesome.
Of course,
or like any of the Hollow Knight characters, bro. Be that fucking nail smith. I'm chilling there like, pay me like one of your French gals. Like, I'm looking good, dude.
I like it.
Oof.
I like it.
That'd be sweet. But no, for real though, I would totally do a Cocytus cosplay, especially because, have you ever seen those videos of the kids who have like Transformers costumes where they get down?
Oh yeah.
And they do this, and then they're just an actual car.
Yeah.
That shit's fucking sweet, dude. Like, has nothing to do with the Cocytus shit, but I just have to say that's some sweet costumes right there. Like, if I could have a costume that was that elaborate, where it's like, you can't see my face in the Cocytus. You can't see me, the human, underneath the Beetle Boy. You need to just see that Beetle Boy.
It's true.
So that's what I would do.
I
But
get
no,
it.
that would be so, like, I wish I could ever do cosplay. Like, that's a talent in and of its own, like making these amazing costumes. I would never be able to do that.
I'm gonna be Wuppo. I'm just gonna get a big cotton ball and just put some black, like those little felt feeler things.
Yeah.
And just be like, I'm Wuppo. People be like, who?
What the fuck are you talking about? Did you ever watch the sci-fi series Face Off?
No.
Where it was like there were a bunch of different makeup artists that would do
that sounds interesting,
like makeup,
but also creepy as hell.
It was really interesting. So it'd be like a challenge, like, oh, you have to do this like unique character.
Right.
Like, yeah. Maybe you should make your Wuppo costume and see if you can go on Face Off.
Yeah, I'll be like,
and they'll be like, the theme today is horror. And everybody's like, I'm gonna make a Chucky doll. Like, I'm gonna make a xenomorph. And you're like, I already came with the costume. It was what I was planning on showing.
This is the extent of my ability.
Yeah, you'd be like that guy who went on American Idol dressed up as Princess Leia just as like a joke.
Yeah.
And those moments are obviously lessened by the fact that you know that they had to go through several different moments where people could have been like, no. But you know they let that guy through like 3 different screening processes just to get up there and be like, she bang, she boom. Like, imagine that, dude. That would fucking suck. You were humiliated on national television and somebody knew that that would happen. That's the explicit reason that they let you through.
Sometimes
that would suck.
Sometimes she does bang, you know?
And sometimes she does boom. Dude.
That's how it works. You know what's crazy is hot off the presses. We have another question.
What?
That's right. It's coming. It's coming. It's really badly formatted. It's coming.
Hot off the presses.
Forgot to Control Shift V. Excuse me for a second. Here we go. Captain Bang.
Captain Bang writes in and says, if you had to make a weekly podcast that had a hard limit of 15 minutes, what would you do it about? Big Josh boy, what would you do that about?
I've not thought about this at all. This is right.
Hard limit of 15
minutes. Hard limit of 15? God, I talk too much for that.
But it's weekly though. You have a whole week.
A whole week. Mm-hmm.
But only 15 minutes.
Okay. I think it would be cool to do my drinking video game mashup thing that I talked about that I said I might do this year. I definitely did not. Yeah, I would do something like that. I would build. We had an episode which was actually taken off because of reasons, but an older one where in a question I talked about this recipe of a cocktail based off of video games, and it was like Isaac's tear shooter or something, and it was like this layered shot with a candy eyeball in it. And there would be like things like that. I'd like to come up with like every week would be a new alcoholic drink mixed with an indie game or just a video game in general. Cause I don't know. We don't always have to talk about indies if it's not indie pod.
Yeah, I feel like the hard limit of 15 minutes is a little bit difficult because you're like, I have to find something that would be, I mean, it doesn't even have to be entertaining. It could just be something that you put 15 minutes into.
I mean, literally, we could just take the top part of these episodes and just turn them into a 15-minute show. Yeah. That's literally what
that's it would be. That's a 15-minute show. It's always fucking stupid, too. Yeah. I feel like it would probably be more popular than the whole show. Let's be real. I
mean, yeah. But what would we call it, though? You know, what would it be if it was just that's us two hanging out? All right. Well, you know what? Instead of listener questions, we need listener answers. All right. This is a shout out. If we had a 15-minute show where Vaughn and I just talked about bullshit and how things are going in our life, what would it be called?
Interesting. All right. For me, if I had a hard limit of 15 minutes, I would probably just do it about Isekai. I love me some Isekai, dude. I'd be like, hey, yo, dude, I've been reading jobless reincarnation light novels. They crazy. But that would be about it. Yeah. I can't think of like a well thought out answer for that one. So we're going to move on. I like how I say well thought out like any of my other answers are.
You know how much research goes into this show.
That is it for this episode of Indie Pod and Indie Games Podcast. Thanks everyone so much for listening. If you would like to chat with us outside the show, you could do so in a bunch of different ways. Specifically, be sure to follow us at Indie Pod over on Twitter. That way you can get notifications when episodes go live, with the developer interviews. You can participate in the show by sending in your questions and a whole bunch more. If you would like to chat with me, you can hit me up at Hyde Legion. That's HYDELEGION over on Twitter. Just for, I don't know, a bunch of dumb bullshit. It doesn't really matter. I Twitch stream on twitch.tv/Hyde Legion, or I will be again on Tuesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. To 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Obviously, you're going to have to figure that out in your own time zone, because I'm not going to do that for you. Yeah. But that will be at the beginning of October. I'm going to be playing New World. I'm very excited to do it. It's going to be fun. I'm glad to get back to streaming. And Big Josh Boy, you can follow him at _Josh90 over on Twitter. I think you just said you were past 600, 700 followers, something like that?
No, just 500. Why don't you chill?
Was it 500?
Chill.
Still, it's cool. It's still cool.
Yeah. It's
that's awesome.
It's all just because indie devs will follow me because they want to come on the show. But I think it's cool. Fuck it.
Yeah. Still awesome.
Came from
and
nowhere.
you can check out his Twitch streams over at twitch.tv/the_Josh if he ever decides to do them again. We'll see if the big Josh boy decides to Twitch stream again.
I feel like if I was Twitch streaming, it would be like our joint episodes again of like me coming on your Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah,
We'll
more than likely.
We'll see.
Something like
maybe
that.
we'll do that again. Maybe we'll be friends one day. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
Just outside of our casual acquaintance.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I think I talk to you more than I talk to my own family.
That's
like I definitely do.
Fucking great. That's how it should be, you know?
Yeah.
Once you meet me, who needs family?
Exactly. When you got the biggest of average Josh boys in your life, you don't need anybody else. My wife.
Well,
nah.
I don't know about that one.
I got the big Josh boy.
That's very sweet. I'll let her know.
So we got to run through our housekeeping one more time. On the 22nd, be sure to check out our developer interview. This is with Visionaries, the developers of Business Heroes, the food truck simulator. Go over to Teespring, pick up a t-shirt or a sticker on that IndiePod store. Head over to YouTube and make sure to click subscribe so you can watch these episodes, watch the clips and such. You can leave us a review on any site in which you can do so. Specifically, iTunes helps us out the most from what I understand, will help us reach a wider audience and spread the word about indie games. And lastly, thank you so much to any person that has given us any amount of money or any amount of their time. You are absolutely fantastic. But we got to thank them $3 and higher. So, Ethan, a gamer for fun. John, it's just John. It's just John, dude. Whatever. We'll see Mixamatosis, aka Mix, Zach Durham, Chase Hopkins, Philip Branch, the one of Australia, Josh Nichols, aka Active Josh, and Sam Fillion from Canada. Thank you all so much. You are all so amazing. And we will talk to you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye.